Let's now start working on animating the face. To do that, I'm going to set up a face camera so that no matter where the character moves, we can always have a view of his face in here. So first of all, I'm going to change this back to a 3D viewport here. And I'm also going to create a new camera. To do that, I need to go out of pose mode back to object mode. And I'll also select this scene collection up here so it'll pop in right in here when we create it. So I'll press Shift A and camera, and there it is. I can pull it up, see it there. Let's go ahead and change the name of this. I'm going to call it facecam. And there we go. Now notice when I moved that camera, it created a keyframe here. While I'm working with this camera, I'm going to go ahead and turn off auto key. I'll turn it back on once we're done here. But let me go ahead and take these keyframes and delete them. And I'll also change my timeline range to 1 to 200 again. And let's go back to the beginning. And let's set up our camera at this point. So with this camera selected, I'm going to press Alt-R. And then I'm going to press RX and hold that control and bring it up 90 degrees right there. And then let's put it in front of this guy. I'll scale it down a bit. We don't need it quite that big. There we go. Now, if I switch to this camera, say over here with the 0 key, what happens is I actually switch to this. And that's not what I want. I can press Control 0 and it switches to the active camera. And I can select this camera here and press Control 0 and it'll go back to that one. So that's not what we want. I want the top view to be our main camera and the bottom view to be the face camera. So to do that, what I'm going to do is just hit the N key. And over here, under View, I'm going to turn on Local Camera. And when I do that, I can choose from the menu here and choose the facecam camera. And there we go. So now this camera is assigned to this view, and this camera is assigned to that view. All right, so I'm just going to bring this down a bit, maybe move it back some, just get it to a point where we can just see the face of the character through the camera. So now what I need to do is parent this new camera to the head of the character so that no matter where he goes or how he turns, that camera is always on the face. So we can see the expressions a little easier as we're animating. So what I'm going to do is select the character rig here. I'm going to switch to pose mode. I will press Alt-Z so we can see through it. I'm going to come over to this panel right here, this object data for the rig, and I'm going to turn on this layer right here. Shift click. Now we can see that head bone, that spine, what is it? Spine 6 right here. That's what we want to parent the camera to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the camera over here, and then it looks like I need to press Alt-Z again here. Alt-Z. There we go. Now I can see that bone in here. I'm going to shift click that bone there, that spine 6. And then I'll press Control P and parent that camera to the bone. And there we go. All right, so I'm going to deselect this, shift click it. I'm going to press Alt-Z to get out of this. Let me select this, press Alt-Z. Here we go. And now, no matter where this guy goes, this camera should be parented to it. So I'm going to hit the space bar, and there it is. So you can see wherever he goes, that camera is always pointed at the face. So that just helps us work a little easier as we're animating the face. All right. I'm going to go ahead and hide that camera here. I'll hide the main camera. We should still be able to see that. Yep. So now let's go back, and I'm going to begin with a few eye blinks. Let's go back with Shift left arrow. And as he comes into the scene here, I'm just going to click and drag this. As he comes in right here, he's going to turn and take a look at us. And I want the eyes to begin to turn before the head turns, because we tend to look at where we're going to turn our head before we turn our head. I'll also turn this on here. And maybe this on here, just so we can see it a little bit better. So from here, we need to blink the eyes. I'm going to select that character here and recall that in our data properties, we've got a shape key here. And here's our blink shape key. So let's say at this point, just before he begins to turn, he blinks as he turns his eyes. So we can set a keyframe, let's say right at 22. I'll come over here and click this little dot right here, and that will add a keyframe. And then I'm going to go forward up 2 frames, 1, 2 with the arrow key. And let's close the eye. I'll just type in 1 and enter, and there's the eye closed. Now, I didn't have auto key on, so I need to turn that on, but I can go ahead and just click that again. And then let's go 2 more frames, 1, 2. Keep this at 1. I'll hit that again. And then let's go 1, 2, and let's take this to 0 here. There we go. So now we have a blink. We go back and play. You can see that blink there. While he's blinking, his eyes should be turning. So just before the blink begins, I'm going to grab this control here and move it toward the camera so the eyes turn toward us. So I'll set a keyframe here. I'll press I and location. And then I'm going to change this to global here. Now let's turn this way, and he needs to be looking at us right here. So I'm going to take this and move it this way so his eyes are looking at the camera there, like that. Let's try that. Spacebar. Turns, good. So by this time, when his head is all the way here, the eyes should be more looking directly at the camera. So we can always turn this on here and grab this and just move it so he's looking straight at the camera there, like that. Or we can just press Alt-G and clear the transformation there. All right, let's try that again. Go back to the beginning. Here we go. Yeah, he's looking a little bit too far here, right? Still too far here. So maybe I'll take this keyframe and move it forward like this. Let's try that. And then let's take this, move this back some like this. Right up here. There he goes. So let's hit that play one more time. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now, we're not running at full speed here. Let's try it with just this view here with Control Spacebar. He looks kind of funny without the subdivisions, but that's okay. We can make do here. Yeah, and I think I'd like another blink right about here too. So what let's do is let's go back to the character. I'll select the character, and there's the eye blinks. So maybe while he's turning here, we get some more eye blinks. I'll press Shift-D and just move these down here like this. Let's try that. So he's got a blink here, blink here. Yeah. Move it just a bit. There we go. And then where else do you think there should be a blink? Maybe right when he brings his hand up. Let's try that. Right in here. Shift-D. Do a blink right here. Maybe a little bit earlier. Maybe at that head turn. Let's try that. Or that head tilt. Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then maybe a blink when he turns to run away too. One right in here. Let's try that. Yeah. He runs in, he blinks. He blinks as he comes back. Blinks as he tilts his head. And one as he turns to go. Yeah. That works pretty well. And we can always move these around, adjust them a bit, whatever we think. You can make these instead of 2 frames, you can make them 1 frame to make them a little quicker. You can make it say 1 frame close and 1 frame open while 2 frames being held closed, or you can change the combination however you like, depending on what your character is doing at the time.